So I feel like there's so much to unpack about this film. It's like touching on everything from social media culture to culture and identity, and it's also maybe we'll start from this. We've shown a lot of your work here at Mouth Lakes, and this feels like the most kind of overtly emotional
Yeah.
film. And so, how did that come about?
Just, I think when I started writing this, I was just sort of starting from the point of the idea that like everyone, I think, has someone who they love, but you don't actually like particularly like. Um, and like trying to play with that sort of contrast and conflict, and that sort of drove the whole thing from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like you took a lot of big swings on this one, like the helmeted character.
Yeah.
Like, how did you conceptualize that?
Well, I mean, like I wanted like some sort of supernatural element in there, and just I really love like people in costumes and masks. I'm really into that. Just that's one of my weird things, and so I, was sort of thinking of like what could work in that world, and I was just in New York, and there's tons of like food delivery guys who are like just constantly, wearing helmets, and I was just like, out of context, that is pretty weird. Yeah. So.
What about you? Obviously, the film goes into this sort of clashing together of two very different musical cultures, and what excited you about that in particular? Besides the obvious, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious is just the contrast, the bit of a rug pull of that, the beginning you're hearing like very overtly hyper pop music and then dive bombing into grindcore. But I also sort of liked the idea of trying to offer a emotional explanation for grindcore and for like very metal sort of stuff where it's like, I imagine most people here are not fans. If you are, please, let's talk later. But sort of like, that sort of speech she gives in the middle of like anger suppressed, and that everyone has some sort of moment where they want to yell and scream, and this music is a conduit for that. So that was sort of the thing there. Yeah.
Cool. So let's open it up to questions. Anyone want to jump in? Yeah.
Yeah, it was shot on digital, film, a GoPro, and like a FX30, all just mixed together. I really like that sort of like mixed media sort of approach, and that's like a recurring thing in a lot of stuff that I do. Yeah, and tried to give reason for when I jump between those different formats. That is maybe not apparent, but I could explain it if you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it based on, are there sort of like, were you basing it on like real live streams that do this, like with musicians? I'm just not familiar, like is that something that really happened?
Yeah, I mean, like it's based on everything from like Tiny Desk Concert to like Colors to like KCRW has a running show where, it's like, hey, bring a musician in when they're on tour and set up in this room and do a set and we stream it sort of thing. Yeah.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Performance from the actors was great. How did you give them direction as they were brother and sister?
Yeah, I just sort of I gave them both their sort of characterizations of I was like, for the sister I was like, you're very pretty, you're very gregarious, which is not hard for her, but I was like, everything you've ever wanted has come easy to you. And then when I went to the brother, I was like, you've always existed in her shadow, and everything that's you've got has not come easy to you, so you have just this lifelong resentment towards her, and they were kind of able to take it from there. Yeah.
Anyone else? Yeah.
It's not a question, it's a comment. I like the sound design.
Oh.
In the latter half of the film.
Thank you.
Striking.
Thank you.
Yeah. How does this fit with? Well, you, I guess, maybe suggested it, but your sort of musical taste and your.
Listen, I'm a big fan of that band, but I'm also a big fan of like Sophie and Charlie XCX, which is sort of what I was patterning the pop stuff off of. So yeah, I have a kind of very wide musical gamut. So I was just shoving as much stuff in there as possible.
And have you experienced this world firsthand, or are you just like a
No,
consumer of it?
I've never, worked on a show like that, but I have done a lot of production stuff. So I've definitely been behind the scenes of things where someone isn't going to show up, or they show up late, and everyone sort of loses their fucking mind. And you, so I've definitely seen that in real life. Yeah.
Right. Anyone else? Cool. Well, you seem like you've always got like a few things in the fire. Do you want to tell us about anything else you've got coming up?
Yeah, I have a short that I'm in the midst of editing right now, which weirdly, given the last short that played, is about a dominatrix during a UFO invasion. So I guess great minds, zeitgeist, whatever. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
always delightful to have you here.
Thank you.
And thanks for showing this.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.